Before we begin, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at DolanyTV and on Instagram at TysonDolany. You guys want to make sure you see what's going on behind the scenes here on DolanyTV. That's where to find it. Let's get going. This is DolanyTV, guys. A big welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers talk. Man, you'd think I'm having a lot of fun with these. And today, of course, by a suggestion of a buddy, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the curious case of Milan Lucic headed into this season. Of course, do I really need to explain it to you guys? What happened with Lucic last year, what was the mess that was, and even the year prior. I mean, 50 points still wasn't quite exactly what we expected on Milan Lucic when he arrived in Edmonton. But guys, the bigger thing for Lucic is to notice that, is it his place in the NHL anymore, or has the NHL moved on from him? And we'll kind of carry through that. First thing I'm going to give you is his stats over his career and kind of show you how it's fluctuated throughout, and then we'll go and get into a deeper dive of where he slots in with the Oilers this year, what the Oilers could do with him if he doesn't slot in anywhere, and if he does survive the season, what do you do with him in the off season? So Lucic's career started in 07-08 with the Boston Bruins, where he had 27 points in a whopping 77 games. Next season he was up to 42 points, and then moved his way down only to 20 points in 50 games. It's not even a half point per game player that season. Then boosted up, all of a sudden had a great rebound year and had 62 points. And what was that? Holy crap, I didn't believe seeing that myself. 30 goals for Milan Lucic in that fourth season of his career. Next season he followed it up with a 61 point effort with the Boston Bruins. This is all with Boston Bruins. And then 27 points in 46 in the lockout season 2012-2013. And then 59 points in 80 games. 44 points in his final season with the Boston Bruins. And then all of a sudden he goes to Los Angeles, puts up 55 points in, that's 81 games. Sorry, my site's really messed up today. But that is 55 points in 81 games. Then all of a sudden he comes to Edmonton, like I said, 50 points. He played all 82 games that season in 16-17. That was a playoff year, right? Don't mind ya. Lucic was an impact player that year. But then he goes ahead and plays all 82 again this season and really struggled it out. I mean, 34 points in 82 games, and this is the big shocker in Milan Lucic's career. He's never had this big of a minus season, a minus 12. So right there, you've got Milan Lucic. He's pretty much trended down for the past 3 seasons, although he peaked again after trending down a year previous before going to LA, you know what I mean? So for Lucic, I think it's a matter of just peaks and valleys a little bit, right? Up, down, and he'll be good. The only one thing that makes me kind of hesitate on saying that is having played the past 82 games both seasons, right? That's a huge, huge concern for sure when it comes to the Oilers trying to get things turned around for Lucic, because now you've got him, he's played 82 games last year and only put up 34 points at $6 million per season. That is a devastating cap hit for Milan Lucic to only put up 34 points. Now, here's the problem. What do you do to solve the Milan Lucic problem in Edmonton when he's making $6 million? Trade value is not exactly there after a 34-point season. You don't want to trade away your prospect, or if you do, you need to get something good in return, but are you for that contract? And B, where does he play in the lineup? Do you have him on the third line with Ryan Strome and somebody, or do you have him on the second line with Leon Draisaitl? Now, my case is definitely don't put him with McDavid. We have what we like in Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Ratty. That's a beautiful line. You gotta let them start the season. If they struggle after 10 games, change it up. But you gotta look at the record, you gotta look at the point production, you gotta look at the team play on that top line first before you make any moves. And by far means, no way should Milan Lucic be considered to jump up to the first line to solve the issue of lack of scoring production. I'm sorry. Guy who has 33 goals in the past 162 games, I ain't taking. That's a very bitter pill to swallow for sure if you're trying to do that. Yeah, sure, in that 23 goal campaign he played a couple games with McDavid, so that's why he might have a couple goals, but I'm not buying it. He's not a top line forward. I barely think he is a second line forward anymore. So Milan Lucic, what do you do with him, right? Third line with Ryan Strome, do you hope they catch fire? Do you hope they find some magic, genie in a bottle type stuff, and try and make it work on the third line? Hope he puts up 45 points and hope it's all good? No, I don't think so. I do not think you do that. I think you gotta start looking at trade possibilities. And realistically, I have no idea who the trade partners for Milan Lucic would be. That's the tough part, right? He would literally be salary dumping, trading a prospect just to get an NHL body back. Now the problem is, like I said before, Milan Lucic is a curious case. He's a top 6 NHL forward by pay grade and by prior history. He's been a second line, first line forward his entire career. Yes, sure, he's not quite the prototypical first line forward that is in the NHL nowadays, or the second line forward for that matter. But Milan Lucic, throughout his career and throughout his history and throughout his pay grade, has been a top 6 forward. The problem is, do you have a team in the NHL looking to acquire a top 6 forward who isn't a top 6 forward? He's only a top 6 forward in name and in contract. That's it. That's all. Problem is, I know one team that would probably do it, give you just a low-grade prospect or a low-grade NHLer back in return, and that's kind of the NHL's dumping ground, and I feel like that's a real soft oat for me to take when it comes to telling you what to think about Milan Lucic, right? If I'm talking about dumping him in Arizona, I don't know what good that does for Arizona. I don't know what symbol that sends to Arizona's fans to acquire a guy who's by no means a top 6 forward, but you pretty much have to play him and pay him as such, and give away something as well. Like, what kind of prospect are you going to acquire? I guess when it comes to Edmonton Oilers territory, you trade Lucic and you trade a guy like Tyler Benson, you could probably get an alright return. You could get a third line forward who would slot in and fill that Milan Lucic role with Ryan Strome. That's no problem. I bet you know what, you could probably do that pretty easily. But Milan Lucic, it becomes a question, right? Drafted in the second round, number 50 overall by the Boston Bruins in the 2006 NHL entry draft. 12 years later, I think the time has passed on Lucic, A, in an Oilers uniform, and B, in the NHL. But what we don't know, and what we don't know until we get to camp, is what Lucic has done with himself in the offseason to get back into shape. I'm not saying he was out of shape, but you know what I mean, and more of an NHL body today's game as opposed to 2010, 2009, that kind of game, right? That was still a game, a big man's game for sure. This is a skill and speed NHL nowadays, so it's a tough test. And like I said, obviously I don't think a deal is just gonna happen at a whim for Milan Lucic. He's gonna have to go out there and prove himself a little bit. He's gonna have to go into camp and show what he can do, and of course then it becomes finding that prospect that is expendable to ship him out. But like I said, that's just one possibility of everything I've covered off, right? I've covered off that he could play on the second or third line, have a rebound season, and come back around and maybe work out in Edmonton. That could be a thing. If he gets 45 points, I'm happy. I'm good with it. He just needs to score more goals. Like, I'm not counting on Milan Lucic to have 24 assists, which is more than double the goals he has. I want an even split, 22, 23, 21, 24, whatever it is. He needs more goal production, and whether you put him with Ryan Strome to get that, or you put him with Leon Draisaitl to get that, as long as it works, I'm happy. 45 points is kind of the threshold. Now, the other question I'm going to propose to you guys, a Milan Lucic buyout would be a hard hit to the Oilers cap for years to come, but would it necessarily be the worst thing? What I want you to do is all the possibilities I've presented to you in the comments section down below. Let me know your thoughts and we'll go digest them bit by bit. I got some comments to still respond to from yesterday's video. That's on me. Late night. My bad. As always, guys, like I said, comments section down below. Let me know what you think of this Milan Lucic kind of, right, curious case is what it is for sure. What do you do with a top 6 forward that isn't a top 6 forward that's getting paid $6 million a year to not produce? Let me know your thoughts. Comment section down below, guys. If you enjoyed, leave me some thumbs up. I would appreciate that. As always, guys, I'm Tyson. This is Dolany TV. It's been an Oilers Talk. I will catch you guys in the next one.